Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Data Dispatch. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. Let's talk about what's been kick-starting the market this week. We're going to be talking about Palantir, summarizing what we're seeing, what the analysts are saying, and especially at this price target with earnings coming up here in just a few short weeks. That's going to come quicker than we think. What possibly could be happening to Palantir's price action? We also have, of course, big things happening in the markets. We have big companies and corporate companies that will be reporting earnings, which can bring more levels of volatility. However, we are seeing the broader market that actually recovers after last week's losses, even with NVIDIA, a big tech company, doing pretty well today, up about 5%. We have a lot to break down and a lot to analyze. So if you are new to the channel, thank you guys so much for watching. Hit that like button, subscribe for daily videos, and of course, I'm not a financial advisor. I'm collecting all the data and dispatching it to you. Pop it up here, what we see, Palantir Technologies. Closing at 28.46, basically consolidating on the day again. We've seen some resistance that is starting to be tested here at the 29s. And it'll be interesting to see here between the 29s and 30s what the trading patterns and even what momentum is going to look like with earnings that will be gearing up. And we'll be covering this here in just a moment. One thing that I have noted is that trading volume actually came in a little bit lower than what we've been seeing kind of on average over the last week for Palantir. We've been seeing around the 50 to 60 millions, coming in at 38 million today. Short volume is basically staying relatively consistent to the last previous trading day. So not a lot of big changes that I'm seeing personally with Palantir. However, we do have volatility that likely will be increased due to the fact that earnings is coming up here in just a few short weeks. And that is going to be Q2 earnings that is going to be happening August 5th post-market. One of the articles I want to cover here talking about, will this earnings report propel it even higher? Now, one of the big things that Palantir has really been taking advantage of and has been taking, more importantly, the opportunity of, is the AI boom that we've seen, of course, within the last year and a half. And we've seen this with the launch of the AIP platform, really bringing the company's commercial client and customer count surging this percentage up over 69% year over year in Q1, with revenue surging 40%. And right now, everything's been so far so good for Palantir. We've seen AI, the boom across the board, has boosted many tech stocks and many different semiconductor stocks. Now, talking about SaaS companies like Palantir, I believe that they are still continuing to be a leading competitor within this specific industry and really building and expanding, I want to say, their trustworthiness and credibility with the governmental contracts. Now you can see the movement into diving into the commercial segment. And this is why we see some of the analysts like Webush, and we've seen Dan Ives come here. We've talked about this for a few times now, talking about coming out here with large and high price targets. $50 right here predicts the number of these top mega cap stocks are going to report strong Q2 earnings, and Palantir also can show impressive results and impressive potential coming up here in the near future. Now, looking at Palantir Technologies, of course, right now earnings per share is estimated to be at 8 cents and revenue estimates at 652 million, with 7 earnings per share revisions that have been bullish in the last 7 days. Let's take a second to thank the sponsor of this video, MooMoo. Now, MooMoo is your one-stop trading app that offers free commission trading along with very powerful investment tools, making it easier for you to make those confident decisions within the market. Right now, new users can sign up utilizing my welcome bonus down in the description, and you can get up to 8.1% limited time APY on uninvested cash and up to 15 free stocks with a deposit. You also can get up to a $300 transfer in bonus. So you do not want to miss out on those rewards. Make sure you check out MooMoo down in the description. Back to the video. And as we come back here and talking about what we've seen across the board, is not everybody just being 100% bullish on Palantir. It's important to understand, what are the analysts really debating about? And what is the whole, I want to say, retail investment community really debating about? It's most likely the convicting views on the valuation and the growth potential behind Palantir. We've seen different analysts Opposite of what Dan Ives has said from Webush, talking about downgrading Palantir to underperform, citing really low quality within the company, talking about earnings visibility, talking about the price target at $22 here, really talking about their skepticism regarding the valuation of recent growth. Is it sustainable? Is this kind of compounded annual growth rate going to be maintainable for Palantir? And this is one of the biggest criticisms, of course, is its current price, its valuation, its price to sales, la da 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 da. We've talked about this before. And where the analysts kind of sit across the board, 3 months ago, 2 months ago, 1 month ago, current, is all still sitting at a hold on average. And you see here, they really haven't changed their opinions too much, with a few that have kind of altered here and there. That is showing you that these kind of analysts are really remaining resilient, and I think they're looking for that next big leg for Palantir Technologies, which could be coming at any time. We've seen Palantir and the growth that has really been driving with Palantir, talking about collaborations like with Voyager Space, Oracle. That is a very big partnership that will bring a lot of exposure via the cloud platforms for Palantir. And their sustainable progress, I want to say, is impressive. We've seen in the last quarters, too, that Palantir continues to result and report in these, I want to say, very good earnings and historical earnings that we've seen. So despite their strong growth, up over here is 66% year to date, surging in AI-driven growth, we have concerns about valuation. We got concerns about how much this momentum can be maintained. I am still remaining bullish on Palantir, personally, because I think the potential there is still limitless, especially for a stock here that has a long way to go. Market cap right now is at 63 billion, not at 100 billion yet. So we still consider this more of a smaller cap type of stocks, which actually what we've been seeing in the market is a lot of money that's been trickling in to these specific stocks. Now we see the S&P 500 rises 1.1% here, breaking a 3-day losing streak. NVIDIA was a big culprit of this, rising 4.8%. We see some other big tech stocks that are helping to bring up the broader market. Now, of course, we have the political tensions and news that's going to bring a lot of debate with this whole year that's coming up here. But in the meantime, what we're seeing is earnings from these large corporate companies. We're going to be looking at things like General Motors, Coca-Cola, Comcast, UPS, Spotify, Alphabet, Tesla, big names that can bring a lot of volatility to the market. However, specifically, what we've seen is that small cap stocks have been continuing to do well. And this is really with the expectation here that these interest rates are going to be cut in the near future. We've seen the probability hanging around 70 to 80% for those first interest rate cuts come September. This means for these smaller cap companies will have more buying power and the ability to borrow more money at a cheaper price. And this shift to small caps is really starting to come as investors are really, like I said, increasingly excited that the Federal Reserve is going to make some changes here in the actual interest rate. Now, what we've seen, the Russell 2000, you can see some of these other small cap indexes within the last week, within the last month, they're doing very well performance-wise and kind of return on investment. So I think we're still going to continue to see a trickle into these small cap stocks, and Palantir included kind of falls within that home realm and kind of a sub niche of that sector. Going and flipping the page here to the next chapter, big tech stocks, NVIDIA helping to bring out the market here. As you see, price target hikes as shares are really testing a key support level. Now, just today, NVIDIA basically rose about 5% after we've seen a little bit of a correction due to some geopolitical concerns regarding regulations of semiconductor chips, how this is all going to work. Lots of different variables that are within the market that are not just affecting NVIDIA independently. And what we've seen, though, is analysts that are continuing to rise their price targets. You can even see right here, 140 from 120, reiterating their overbought and overbuy rating. And even with how fast NVIDIA has accumulated in market cap here within the last year, within the last 2 years, a lot of analysts are still saying there's a lot of room for potential. And NVIDIA right here during the last 3 trading sessions has tested key support at its 50-day moving average, which is really important from a technical perspective. So the fact that we have here is put on the catalyst watch, and that's because we have an important conference where the CEO is going to be coming out here to speak and talking about their reiterations and their evolutions of the chips that they're continuing to make. I want to know what you guys think here. Palantir Technologies, do you think it'll break 30 bucks before we hit earnings? What do you think is going to be happening to these small cap stocks? Do you think we're going to see, of course, the probability of those interest rates that will stay high for the first cuts? And do you think the next CPI inflationary data report is going to be showing more signs of inflation that is cooling, which would be good for the market? Also, it'll be interesting to see what happens here. How do you think NVIDIA is going to do versus the other big Magnificent 7 stocks? Peace out, take care, and I'll catch you guys later.